Yeah.
But, you know, I can't control those things.
No,
right?
no, but I gotta be there for him.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, let me get up here and see what I got ahead of me tonight.
Things going all right over there?
What's that?
Things going okay in your area?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Told me to watch my back.
People are digging ditches.
Well, they've been getting permits.
Yeah,
Good.
so it looks pretty good.
Good. It's good, I'm glad to see that at least there's trying to come into compliance. That's all we ask. Really, is that they try to come in and do something anyhow, that's nothing. Let's see here, where are we at here? You getting something planned? Oh,
Chris, it took me until I saw you in church
Oh!
to know where I had seen you before. I keep sitting at these meetings. I remember I saw you in church the other day. I was like, that's where.
Well, two good places to see you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a pretty meeting.
To bring up a new business, but the signs on Wrist and Flenner, you can hardly read,
Yes.
so I can bring that up in new
You
business.
can bring them up, but unfortunately, that because they're private roads, we can't put them up. I actually had,
Who's been replacing them?
I had to replace them up until the attorney told me to stop, because we're not allowed to do that, we're not gonna shoot. I had ordered signs for all of them roads, because I believe, as far as myself concerned, is, you know, it's a public safety issue, and they should be replaced, where the fire and ambulance and EMS can find the streets.
Right.
But I was informed by him that we're not allowed to do that. So, there's a guy in Kelly Trail in Strawsdale, has property in both places. I told him last week, as a matter of fact, we were in my truck. I said, listen, I ordered all the signs. I ordered all the signs years ago. I'm most certainly willing to give the signs to the residents if they'll put them up.
Oh, okay.
Because we've already paid for them, so they're there and done. That's, you know, so, I'd say same to you, if you have have streets that you want signs put, I have the signs.
Okay, so just come in someday.
Come in and see me and I'll give you the signs, if you can put them up, all it takes is an Allen wrench to unscrew it, just take the old sign down, put the new one in, screw it back in and get it going.
Okay, alright.
In the back end of a tailgate of a truck.
On my walk, I'll make sure I
This is also
notice which
already
ones are.
Yeah, because like I said,
because I asked her for the actual.
Okay.
it's crazy
Yes,
that
the
we
name
can't,
is summary sheet.
That's right.
But she does have a bid
Okay.
sheet on here. She did.
but I do have it.
Alright.
She did a bid sheet.
So instead of us buying new ones when they go, could have just put
So
them
she kind of broke it down in the bid sheet.
So-
That might
Well, you
be- yeah.
could.
I mean, we'll put up the new ones, but the old ones that we take down, we could just,
Yeah, you can repay them and put them back up later on. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because what happens, they get sun faded.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah,
and
that's what's
you
the problem.
can't read it. So,
Yeah,
okay,
this is one of the.
just wanna make sure,
No, I have those signs, I do, absolutely.
okay.
There's Mr. Lisco.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you all?
Wonderful.
No. All right, thank you.
I don't know if it's only day, it might be different.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, how are you, John?
Fine, how are you?
Sorry for not getting up. Good to see you. Figured I'd stay put.
Oh, no, yeah, this is where I usually sit. How the Mets doing?
I don't wanna talk about it.
They're not doing too bad.
Damn bums.
Oh, boy. It's baseball, it's still early.
I was hoping they'd stay in first place until after the All-Star game, then they can start losing.
Doesn't matter where they're at now, where they're at the end of the year.
Yeah,
From
too bad.
September.
Yep.
If you gave me a blue one, I gave it away, so it
Bob's chopping.
Exactly.
Is that, I see the new bays look nice, you got rid of that old building?
Oh, yeah, oh, you haven't been around, yeah, you
No.
see that?
Yeah, it looks nice.
Gentlemen think you can work,
You still walk.
Did they do it?
for the most part. They put the concrete, blocks in, the Lego
Yeah.
blocks, and then they had something from the building.
Yeah, those Lego blocks, they just, I don't know, I think some of them have like,
You get in trouble.
bars that.
Say what?
I don't know if those.
I had
ones
to.
do.
Well,
No, those
The
were.
Great Ghost was on its best
Yeah.
way.
You pay your taxes?
Interlock, yeah.
Huh?
did you pay your taxes?
I haven't got them yet.
Well, you better make sure you pay them, you bought a brand new truck.
Hey, if you give me the damn taxes in the mailbox, then go out to the
Hey.
state.
Man, I'm glad to see you, I really am.
If she's here, I bring it to
Nice
say
to see you.
afternoon, if she's not.
Take care
Probably
of the country
wanna-
club.
You wanna call up
I
about
haven't
a first
been
responder?
on. I went, I took my grandson bowling.
No,
I hadn't bowled in.
I
like
needed to
30
get
years.
the
Yeah.
shackles wouldn't pass inspection.
I hurt my elbow.
Great Ghost, 200.
He bowled like 10
miles.
games. He was by himself. He just, can I bowl another one, Dad?" Yeah.
24 years, I wanted to call GMC up and tell them I was dissatisfied with their product.
Just take pledge allegiance to the flag. The pledge
Pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Barlow,
Here.
Mr. Keitel,
Here.
Mr. Hill. Here.
Okay, first thing we're gonna do here tonight is open up the bid, for the Orchard Road, job. It's supposed to be modified, flex base, so I believe we only got one bid, from Russell Standard, that came in, the other bids split it.
I sent an email that said I didn't see any other bids unless there's some in the box that I can't get to.
There's something in the box.
Is there?
Yes.
I don't know.
Go open a box.
You read that, you're gonna open the box.
Let's open the box.
Just make sure it's not bid. I assumed it was for the tax.
It could be Mr. Sly's taxes.
What's that?
Like I said,
It's a lot.
Jessica hasn't sent me the bill yet.
Checks in the mail, right?
It will be once I get the bill.
Yeah.
I want you guys to have enough money to fix Orchard Road.
We do too, trust me, and some more.
Oh, jeez. The state of Pennsylvania sent the homeowners tax rebates out.
Yeah,
Just got that, and I thought it was a scam.
yeah.
It's twice as much as last year. Well, it's already gone, the taxes are gonna eat that and then some.
Was that, some of that from the casinos?
I think so.
That's what it's
The,
supposed
and the
to.
lottery.
Yeah.
And the skills, they're supposed to come from the skills games also, but they haven't regulated that yet.
A lot of skills in those slots, huh?
Yeah.
No, I was hard.
Yeah, well, you got, I mean, if you're at a casino in the Commonwealth and you win a $1,200 jackpot, you have to pay taxes.
Yeah, they give you a
If you go to a gas station, you play a skills machine, or you go to a club and play a skills machine and win a $1,200 jackpot, you don't pay taxes.
oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not regulated. Yeah.
It was for tax collector.
Just good information to know, I mean.
I know right now. I try to not put my money in those slot machines.
Right? Normally it doesn't come back out.
Okay, so there's only one bid, for the bid opening, so we'll go ahead and open that. is actually the second time we actually put the bid out because the first bid was wrong. It was, the wrong material that was bidded on, that's why I had to rebid it. Alright, this one here is for FB modified, which is correct. The bid at this time is $184,500. It's 1,640 tons, modified FB. At $112.50 a ton. Good, that's lower than the last bid, I believe. What was the last bid, do you remember?
I thought it was 177. That number rings in my mind.
It would be in the minutes in your packet. So look at this,
Thank you.
I don't have any memory, but I do write things down. So that should just be right after this, look in the minutes when we do the bid opening. 174,345. This actually was lower last time.
I don't know what's going on with Russell Standard, with the price that they're giving us.
You talked to that guy.
I did, he told me it was $100 a ton,
What did it say in there?
$112.50. And it's, the other one was FB modified number threes, which is a better base. This one here's a less base, but it's actually more money. So,
His two pricing, if you look at the minutes, it says 142.25 per ton, and then it says FB3 is 122.50. So that was his last bid. If you look, it's the first page of the minutes, right at the top.
At the top.
Right at the top of the minutes.
yeah, so the bid's still higher.
So did the tonnage go up?
No,
The price went down.
no, the tonnage didn't go up, the tonnage was the same, because we were doing the 2 foot, shoulder with
Right.
3 inches of, and when you calculate, the tonnage, and make it all FB modified straight across the board, it just came out to 1640. Yeah,
So it's 1640 instead of,
yeah, you had,
instead of 1420.
yeah, you
So
had,
we increased the actual amount we wanted.
you had the 1420, at
Correct.
1400 tons of FB modified,
And 20 tons,
and 20 tons, so it was 100, so it
So
was
it's
actually,
1420 previously. Now
Right.
it's 1640.
Yeah.
So we increased the amount we wanted, so the price would go up.
yeah, it went up because they said, just to make it all FB modified.
And is his
1600.
price per ton the same? Is it 122.50
No.
or what is it?
112.
So it's actually lower, his bid is lower, we just increased the amount we wanted when we put the bid back out.
Yeah, about 300 tons.
So that's on us. We asked for more.
What do you guys wanna do?
That's 15 truckloads. 14, something like that. I wanna get the road done. We gotta get that road done. Why is it more tonnage this time? I'm unclear on that.
Well, it indicated that the 1640 would do the 500 feet of 2 feet, on the shoulder of 3-inch depth.
That's 500 feet?
Yes,
Is it?
from the intersection
Up to that pole?
up to that pole is 500 feet,
Good lord.
yes, which is the additional 300 tons.
That's a super highway in there. That's telling day to 500 on that turn. I'm telling you. So we went 2 feet additional.
Well, we didn't change anything from the last bid. It was still exactly the same bid. They just worded it differently in the tonnage as far as, what they did the last time. They gave us, 20 tons of FB modified, which is this, which was gonna be for the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And then, 1,400 tons of FB3, which was where the price increase was at. But they've messed up here again because the shoulder never changed. It's still 20 tons for the shoulder,
Yeah.
not 320 extra tons.
But this is the bid that we gave them.
No, this is what he told us.
Who's he? I'm sorry.
Randy from Russell Standard,
I understand that. When we put the bid out and asked for it, we put 1640 on
which is what he said we needed.
Okay.
What I'm saying is
He gave you misinformation.
he's saying we need more now than what we needed before. He never changed the footage.
No, I understand now.
The footage has not been changed a single bit.
300 extra ton, that'll dang near do half the road.
Well, that's my problem.
What?
For the second time.
He did.
Yeah,
Well, in Randy's defense, I think he's retired.
he has. I know he did.
What'd you say?
I said, in Randy's defense, I think he's
He
retired.
did retire.
Yeah, he did.
I think he was on,
Because I did.
I think he had one foot out the door.
When I called him, when he called me, when we rejected the bid last month, he called me the next day and said, I screwed up the bid. No, I didn't, I screwed up the bid. He was supposed to rebid it. And he told me, this is how we rebid it. And it'd be cheaper at $100 a ton.
Usually something back there.
It's $112.
She's got
It
one.
was at 300 tons. The size of the road has not changed.
But let me say, they can only bill for what they do.
Yep.
So even if they bid it in at that amount, if it's not gonna take that much, they can't bill us for the full amount. And the budget's for 215,000 per road. So if he overbid the amount,
I understand that one.
okay, I'm just.
I totally understand all of that. I just don't like myself personally when they tell you one thing when they get you the bid and then turn around and change it when it comes out. I mean, that's more than the first bid. We'd be better off doing the first bid because it was better material.
$30,000 better.
$30,000 with a better base. That don't make any sense to me. That's why we rebid it, because he said, oh, I'm sorry, it should have been modified, not FB3. The FB3 is a more expensive material.
Or can we reject this bid and take it back to him and be like, hey,
Well, we could, but then we gotta advertise it all over again. This'd be the second time. It'd be the third time now. At
Oh, no,
160.
$600 to advertise.
I looked at the advertising bid, it's 162 since I was reading it.
Oh, okay.
but this is like a 20K difference, right?
It's 30.
Almost 30.
Yeah. So I don't care about the 162. It's about timing and,
Tell him we'll take the first bid. Just kidding. Jeez. He knows he's the only one bidding.
It does.
Ain't rocket science.
Yeah, I don't know how it goes from 1,420 tons to 1,640 tons and the price goes up like that. That's crazy. I just don't understand that.
I'd like to make a motion. I make a motion that we table that.
We can't,
Why can't we?
can we just go?
No, you're supposed to, you gotta make a decision.
Yea or nay?
Yeah, on the second class township codes.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't think you knew the table on the date.
Let me go.
Is the phone call gonna make a difference, Mickey?
What's that?
Is the phone call gonna make a difference? If you get a hold of him?
Well, Randy's gone. I don't think you're gonna be able to get a hold of him.
But supposedly, somebody, Mickey, didn't you say somebody was taking his spot?
He's training someone, but he told me he was gonna stay on this until we got it done.
Well, he might. All I know is that he's retiring or is retired.
Yeah. He
But they
retired.
can't change the bid now.
He
I mean,
retired
it's
and
what
came
we
back.
got in front of us is what we got in front of us. I mean, I agree with what he says, they don't use as much tonnage.
Can we adjust it and accept it?
A change order after? I don't know.
Yeah, we could do a change order, right?
After the award.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I'm looking up the first one. The award of contract shall only be made by public announcement at the meeting which bids are opened by the Board of Supervisors or received from blah, 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 okay. Or at a subsequent meeting of the Board of Supervisors, the time and place of which shall be publicly announced when bids are received. So, you can postpone it to next meeting, or at a subsequent meeting, the time and place which shall be publicly announced. So you can publicly announce that you're gonna, award this at the next meeting, under the code.
Or a
Does
special
that give us an opportunity to go back to them and say, what are you doing here?
Yeah, that's what that opportunity is there, if we postpone.
Yeah, see, that's the real issue, well, you said that, Wendy, did you say we asked for 1640?
It's
That's what
right
they told
here.
us we needed.
What I'm saying is when we advertised, we said we want 1640,
Yeah.
cause they're using our bid form.
Yeah, so I don't see, you wouldn't be able to change that amount because.
Until after, and then we get started on the project and they put in a change order, then they could do it, if that's
You
not
could do a
required.
change order,
We
yes.
could do a
That-
change order after the award, but not prior to the award.
Yeah, but what, if you do a change order, what if they come back and say, well, you need 1640?
Well, then we're stuck with it.
They were stuck.
They would have to.
But you're
agree.
saying see, I don't know that much about roads, you know
No.
a heck of a lot more than I do. Do you think we need 1640 tons?
No, what was explained to me, and to Jim Lesher too, our district eight rep, was, that the 1400 was for the 20-foot road. For the additional 500 feet, 2-foot shoulder with 3 inches of FB was an additional 20 tons. And then Randy said, just make it 1640 and roll it all into one, and everything will be covered. And I went,
And
that's
that's
a
not
lot
what-
more stone, a lot more tonnage in there. He goes, it'll cover everything.
So,
You could do a change order, you could accept the bid and do a change order, but if they, and ask for a change order, but if they refuse to give you one. Alright, here's what I think you should do, I think you should award the bid, with the understanding that,
The tonnage is not correct.
with the understanding that it's intended that there would be a change order done if necessary. Cause maybe he's got an explanation for it, as to why you need the 1640.
1,640 tons?
1,640 tons.
Where's your phone? Do a calculation, 22 ton and 1640.
But it's 22 ton of truck,
Yeah, roughly, give or take 1,000 pounds.
74 trucks.
Ain't no way that road's gonna take 74 truckloads of blacktop, my God, that'll go down its spur.
You're right. They screwed it up.
No, something screwed up, hell no. Excuse me, it's better than truck sale.
Do you want to award the bid with a change order to be in place, or do you want to reject it and have them redo it again? Because they're not gonna get to this till October anyhow.
I wanna get on the schedule, we need to get it done. So if we can do a change order to suit us, 1,640 tons, that's a lot.
It's a big difference from 1,420,
Woo-hoo.
which was gonna do the whole entire road before with FB3.
Yeah,
well, why don't you make a motion to award the bid if there's a change order to 1420 tons, and if there's no change order, then you reject the bid. Then the bid's rejected.
All right, we'll make that motion.
You know, second it. Or do I have to make the motion?
You
You
make
can
it.
make the motion.
I'm not saying what you just said.
Okay.
Who's making the motion?
All right,
Somebody knows what they're talking
We'll
about.
make the motion to accept the bid
Okay. Got it.
with the conditions that we need to, with the change order of 1420, explanation of why it's at 1640.
And
With the option to reject the bid.
Right, and they will still have the option to say no, because.
yeah, you're
Or
accepting
change
if it's
Yeah, that would be-
1420, and
Yeah.
and if it's not, if they don't agree to 1420, then
I'm sorry,
the
what's the
bid's
number? 1420?
1420.
Thank you.
then the bid's rejected.
Alright,
I'd
thank you.
probably say we'll do what you want.
We'll see,
Yeah.
because I would say that's just, I can't,
And,
I've been doing this a long time, and I've never had this problem.
and Chris, you seconded that?
Yeah, now I second it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Now you got the details on it.
Thank you.
Alright.
Lord, Lord.
I guess I'll be on the phone with them guys tomorrow.
Yep.
Start early. It's a holiday coming up.
Yeah, that's an 8 o'clock call.
There's been that other company from, I forget their name, that's been bidding a lot against Russell Senior.
Yep.
Yeah, they're from, I wanna say up Altoona way.
New Enterprise?
No, that's Valley Quarries, no. I can't think of their name, but they got a bid in Montgomery over Russell Standard for pavement. I'm surprised they didn't bid this one. Maybe you guys are too far over the mountain and everything, so.
Might be. Where's the closest blacktop plant for that?
I don't know.
What, to here?
I think they're pulling out of,
Russell Standard.
they're pulling out of New Enterprise.
Oh, I don't know about that.
All right, we're gonna move on here, but the meeting keep it moving. Any public comments? No public comment? Okay. Supervisor comment?
Nope.
Nope. Supervisor comments, okay. I do have a comment. I wanna thank John, for coming back and, taking the position of Liberty Township as our solicitor. Really do appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome. I was driving on there, felt like I never left.
I do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we'll move on here to the minutes. So everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes for June the 3rd, 2025.
Yes.
Everybody read the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as read?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded?
All in favor?
Alright.
Let's go to the treasurer's report for June of 2025. Everyone have an opportunity to review the treasurer's report?
Yep.
Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Thank you. Paperwork. Next one will be expenses, the invoices for 6/4/25 to 7/2/25, 8A, did everyone have an opportunity to review, the treasurer of the expenses?
Yep.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to, pay the expenses?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Alright, payroll, we have payroll is 6/1 to 6/14/2025, I have reviewed that, I'll make a motion that we approve it as presented.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next payroll is 6/15 through 6/30/2025, I believe that Bobby,
I'll make
reviewed
a
that.
motion that, we accept it.
Second, all in favor?
Alright.
Aye.
Thank you. The next thing will be police department's, report.
For the month of June, we patrolled 2,555 miles, total hours of 341.75, which includes 82 administrative assistant hours. Throughout that time, we had a total of 56 on-call hours. We had issued 41 traffic citations, 45 faulty equipments and warnings. Totaled out to 165 complaints, including traffic stops. PSP handled 12 complaints that were called in, for a total of 177 complaints for the month of June. National Night Out is coming together pretty well. We have received some nice donations to include all 3 townships. Liberty Township, Highland Township, both had pledged $1,000, and Freedom Township had donated, what was that total amount now? It was $750,
I think.
that's right, because they were gonna donate $776 because that was their
Earned interest.
interest for the month. Anyway, Sergeant Morris and I have been rotating the on-call hours to cover the township, and Sergeant Morris also covers Highland when he's on call. If there is a call out to Highland, it comes off of their hours that they have provided for service. I did attend the Pennsylvania Chief of Police Conference, which was held in Lancaster. The information that was received there that I felt was useful was active shooter response information, and also information about camera footage and court action for the camera footage, meaning your body cams and your in-car cameras. We had scheduled the range twice now. Once it was canceled due to the extreme heat that we had for that week, and it was also scheduled for today, and it was canceled due to the rain that we had this week because the range was washed out. We have tentatively scheduled it for August 1st to be our next range date. Gettysburg Bike Week is the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. I really call it the 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's being held at the Barn Resort this year for their main festivities. Patrols will be assigned to conduct enforcement and take appropriate action as needed. We are demo testing an internet hotspot for the patrol units from T-Mobile, since the hotspots from Verizon have numerous dead areas in our coverage area, and the dead areas do inhibit the officers from completing their task out on the road and the operations that they need to do for connections. The contracts for police service have been completed and presented to you all for review and approval to be submitted to the other townships. A ride-along invitation was extended from myself to all supervisors as well as the other two townships. Highland Township's chairman has shown interest in it, as well as Supervisor Kyle Holtz has shown interest. We can schedule those whenever we have people out on the road. The the major investigation for the month of June was endangering the welfare of the child and also sex-based communication between minors. Charges are being prepared and they will be filed this month.
One question for you, Terry.
Yeah.
On the mobile hotspot thing, is the reason why you're not looking at FirstNet?
Verizon or T-Mobile covers covers the county 911 center right now, and they have the same abilities as FirstNet.
It does, right?
If you can see the sky, you can have connectivity. Our main thing is we lose connectivity so many places that you wouldn't believe why. You know, I understand going out Bullfrog Road where there's so much foliage covered, you know, but I don't understand driving up Route 16 where it's completely open.
Does Site R have anything to do with that?
No.
It has to do with the antenna. I have Verizon when I moved here. I have a FirstNet antenna, hotspot, it works great.
Right.
But
But
it's cost effective, and you get super high bill, but T-Mobile's
yeah,
got the same thing.
T-Mobile is much cheaper, and that's we had also talked to them about the phone contracts. So I believe, you know, Verizon's phone contract blew them out of the water, but their hotspot, from what I understand, is going to be better. I just got it today, so I can't even talk about
TBA.
how it does.
I had some interaction with the Xfinity. I'll just say that. serviceable. And I asked him when he was programming some stuff for me, what he was using to program, and he said, we use their phones.
Yeah.
All AT&T. I went, what? I said, you're Comcast Xfinity. You're using AT&T to program these things? Why? He goes, it's a better service. Seriously?
Yeah, they don't even use their own service.
I thought that was dumbfounding to me.
Well, that's what First Ed is, it's AT&T.
Correct.
So it's a high bandwidth network just for first responders. So you actually have to be a
And-
first responder to have it.
Actually, T-Mobile has the same thing, as I was saying, that we are prioritized. So if something would go down, a tower would go down, or we'd have a natural emergency, if I made a call and you made a call, your call would get bumped. I would have first priority. So I can explain about
Yeah.
T-Mobile next month, but I can't.
That's the way you think.
I just received it, but,
If you wanna try my hotspot for First Ed, you're more than welcome to
you
use
know,
it.
we may do that, we may compare them, sure.
That's good, thanks, Chris.
Alright, then you need a motion to, go ahead and purge the, camera footage?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think
He's
so.
just making a statement so that it's on record, the thing.
yeah, our camera footage all, every 60 days. we
Yeah,
get-
okay. Sounds good. Alright, and next thing we have is, I, the police department, AI, that is going to be, what is it here? WellSpan AED ownership agreement. Did everyone have an opportunity to see that in your email?
Yep.
You say that?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I thought he said no to it.
I did, that's how I saw that.
Yes,
Okay, so any thoughts or comments on the, program and it's being phased out?
So how many AEDs do we have currently? One in here and one in
no,
every.
we have 2 in the police department. That program has actually been phased out, it's
Phased
done.
out.
Yep.
However, we didn't know about it.
Oh,
They had sent an email, but it wasn't, that was before I had taken over and all that. We found it because they sent us another email saying you haven't responded, and we're like, what are you talking about? So that is, I had Jessica contact them, Jessica contacted them, and they replied with what you all have. The AEDs are ours, and they're willing to, I believe, pay us a scholarship.
$100 for a $1,200 unit, right?
But they both need new batteries, which, I mean, the $100, you're not gonna buy a battery, but we did get quotes for batteries, and it's not too much. I can't remember what her total price was, but she had gotten it, to present, for the batteries for, both units.
Don't they also have to be inspected annually?
Well, no, download it if you utilize them. What we would need to do is download them. The maintenance on them was the battery,
Oh, okay,
basically,
alright.
yeah.
So I just briefly read that, but they want us to own them now.
That's it.
Yeah, we do own them, we have them.
This was for like people that got them on the grant program or whatever the program
Oh, okay.
was. So they're saying, hey, look, we're not doing anymore, but we
Right.
already own it, so it's not
The
really.
program was, the Friends of Gettysburg Hospital
Yeah.
had actually supplied AEDs to every police department for every vehicle you own in your police department. And they would come around once monthly and check on them and make sure the batteries were good and all this. Or annually, I couldn't remember. But, that program had disbanded.
Right.
So upon them disbanding, now we have nobody to give us new batteries or keep the upkeep.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is, since that program disbanded, they're trying to disperse the monies that were left over to the police department so that we can possibly help buy batteries or whatever.
Alright, well, I'll make a motion that we move forward with the, ownership agreement and, look at getting batteries for them to bring them up to date.
Where do you get those funds if they're available for batteries?
It's $100 that's coming from these people, there ain't no other funds.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, no,
Per unit, flat 100.
That $100.
yeah, that's all they're giving out, cause they're giving it to each department. But, for our batteries, the only thing we could do is possibly find a grant out there for AEDs, and there isn't one right now.
Well,
Did you look at this Julia Kent thing down at the bottom? There's this thing that, hyperlink to, grants that are available.
Right, we talked to them.
Oh, okay.
There's no grants right now, and we even reached out to Arms, and Arms actually told us to go ahead. We called who they suggested for the batteries, and Arms said, we can't get them at that price, so.
Yeah, right. But we don't have them in the vehicle, so you have two.
Yeah, because they're not,
the batteries are dead.
the batteries
Oh,
are
right, but do they go back in the vehicles when
Yes.
they service back?
yeah, those go in the vehicle.
But we have 3 vehicles, don't we?
We do now. At that time, we had 2, so we had 2 AEDs.
Cause I mean, it doesn't do as much good to have it here. Right in the car.
So who checks the battery on that one back there?
I do.
You do?
When was the last time you inspected it, sir?
Yeah, it's not.
You got the date up
Did you look at the light up there?
Alright,
Blink.
look at that, alright.
There you go.
And that's a self-contained unit,
Yes, it is.
so
So-
ours would, ours, of course, we have ours interact with the EMS.
Yeah, they can
The
take
medic,
that.
the medic can download, right, yep,
Yeah, if we ever use that and EM shut off, they will take that with them.
correct.
I'm aware, yeah.
It's a one and done type of thing.
Well, you can go get it from the ER when they're done with it.
Oh, I'm talking about the pad, it's got a pad, in it. Once you use that pad, you gotta get new pads.
Well, that's all, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right.
See, what we're lucky about is ours are interchangeable, and
Right,
we can have them give us a set of pads,
right,
and then they in turn bill the patient for the pads, because they use theirs by replacing ours.
You talking about they is the hospital for
No,
example?
EMS.
EMS.
and that's,
Okay.
yeah. Alright, so the motion on the table to accept the $100 per unit and sign the agreement.
Well, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, I'll second that.
All in favor? Alright, the next thing is the police service intermunicipal contracts. I know Jess sent those out today, so the supervisors need to review those contracts and, we need to take action. We have, on 9A2, short briefing of that contract for each township. The current rate is $65.52 per hour. Keeping the same rate, and adding the current cost for the contract would be $35,295. Our first year contract would be $31,646.16. That would be for what township?
Chairman, I would say this is what she
No.
gave me last week. She since sent the new
Correct.
information today, so this is no longer valid. She provided it to you today.
Thank you. We will review the contracts and.
Yes, we have I had her make a spreadsheet, and it does include the hours for the administrative secretary position, for their portion of it. Now, you will see on these spreadsheets, there are 2, one is for 20 hours a month, which would be 5 hours a week per township, extra the 10 hours as we had talked originally, and the other one is 27 hours a month, which is 1/3 of the monthly cost.
And I believe those were the contracts that Mr. Lisco, you did review and responded to those via email.
Yeah, there was just the one change in 3.03. It says, the regularly scheduled hours will be decreased proportionally during following periods of service, or the overage may be paid. It should be may, or the overage may be paid. So in other words, if you go over the hours, they can pay you or decrease, but like I said, it's just a typo.
That actually wasn't typed, by us.
Yeah,
This
whatever.
time, but yes, that, it needs change.
Yeah,
I corrected other ones earlier, so, just so you are aware also, gentlemen, the goal is, to have both contracted townships at 40 hours a month by 2028, so possibly we can add an additional full-time officer. And if you look at it, Freedom Township, their contract rate has been the same since January 1, 2024. It had not changed at all, due to the addendum. So really, they had no increase in the last year and a half, I believe it was, or 2 years, because the 2025 contract is the same as 2024 contract. So they'll have 2 years with no increase. So you will see a increase in 2025, or
Well,
6.
Is that like a CPI, like 3%, or what's that increase, what's that percentage increase?
What we had Jessica had done is we put an hourly rate, we increased it, the hourly rate right now is 65, I believe, we increased it $70 an hour. Or we suggested an increase of $70 an hour, to bring them up. Also, the administrative cost is there as well. But after that, we looked at a COLA rate of about 3% to 5%, because everything goes up every year.
Yeah,
So you have a cost of living
right.
on wages, you have a cost of living on gas and everything else. So we tried to put a 3% to 5% increase after that.
Absolutely.
But that's not in here.
No, it just says, but I don't know.
What, the percentage?
Yeah, you're
No.
not saying in here that,
No, it is per hour.
yeah, but we're not notifying them in here that they're in the contract that it says, hey, look, you're gonna expect an annual 3% to 5% increase.
No, it will say in the contract, it does say in the contract, like last year's contract, it says, this year you will pay, say, $30 or $28,000, and that is this amount every quarter of a payment, and it breaks down to this hourly rate.
I think 7.01, Chris, is where it will say it, because it says financial rate of payments.
Correct.
And
And
it
that'll
says,
be
please-
injected.
It says, please see suggested contract rate. So
Right.
they'll, whatever you decide, if you decide on, they'll put that in here.
Yeah, we can't make that, we were just giving suggestions.
Got it.
And I was looking at it as, I did look at the outlying departments on what they pay their part-time and what they start their first, their lowest full-time officer at. And you also have to consider your fuel costs, your maintenance, your training, your uniforms, all that, so.
Defib batteries?
Yeah. Right, exactly, Mr. Lisco.
No, I understand.
All right, well, we'll take a look at these and, deputy, I guess, it should be next month's meeting.
So you want me to put that on the August agenda for your recommendations?
Yeah.
What is
You
not
guys
that?
okay with that? Yeah. Alright, so we make a motion, we table this to the August meeting, and with, decision at the August meeting on, how we wanna move forward with the contracts, for the joint municipal agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Alright. Next thing we have is the zoning sewer enforcement, so what we have here under zoning is we have, a workshop building renovate, for the Christian Apostolic Church, $100 permit. The pool and deck for $100 for this go. Get pool, yeah.
Oh, is there a list going there?
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh, let's go.
With an E.
Yeah.
There's a D instead of an I. And the Solana, the stormwater repair for a total of $300, for, land use permits for the month. We have a request for a construction bond release.
Mr. Barlow, you can table that, that's not ready.
Not ready?
Yeah, let's table that till next month.
We're gonna table that then, there you go.
Okay.
Under PMCA, outstanding enforcement actions that are ongoing, you have a list of those in front of you to review. So those things are that's just a heads up to give you what's still open. I did talk to Clem Millette today. He is retiring in July the 15th, so he will no longer be with PMCA. But he did assure me today over the telephone that he would stay involved with our active open files until they're closed. So it was very nice that he did that. I do appreciate Clem's dedication to Liberty Township and his willingness to at least keep these things on track. But I also, on behalf of the board, wished him a very well retirement. And that he would move on into the retirement years and find peace and happiness in that. So anyhow, he assured me we would be seeing him again. So that's for the zoning. As far as the road department, here we had DMC truck drove 223 miles, 550 was 66 miles. Total gas was used at 24.1 gallons. Off-road diesel was 96, and the increase in off-road diesel is, of course, Bruce has been out mowing the township roads, which is most of all the diesel fuel that's off-road is coming from that. We had a water runoff problem up in Glad here in the month of June that we addressed with 2 different locations, and the one so far has corrected the action, the other one has attempted to do some corrective action, but it's just still ongoing thing there, so we'll continue to work with those people to get that corrected. I did meet with Jim Lasher to rewrite this bid that came in for Orchard Road. Unfortunately, again, you guys just witnessed what happened there. We're gonna have to readdress this thing. I will be reaching out to District 8 guy tomorrow, because he was under the same impression that I was as far as the cost per tonnage and also the increase in the tonnage used. So that'll be an ongoing conversation. Bobby and I did go to New York this past month for a PA1 call, training and updates. Spent about 4 hours there to learn some of the new laws that have changed. The PA1 call requirements of digging things, they change, they're ongoing, changing things all the time. They have updates, regulation changes, the whole 9 yards. So anyhow, we had a good time. I think we learned some things, and some things we already knew. We gathered up a bunch of junk to bring back in our bags. Anyhow, we did do that. Bobby and Bruce have been working on the shoulders. I did the shoulder work yesterday on Orchard and also over in Winchoff and Orchard and, Boyle and Winchell. So anyhow, there's still ongoing things going on. We do have a situation up on, one of our, well, not one of our roads, but one of our, the township roads, that actually is owned by the federal government. There is a 6-foot deep sinkhole up on Glad, Harbaugh Valley alternate. It's 740B, so be aware if you travel up in that area, in the eastbound lane, there is code set up at this point in time. Raven Rock and I have been in contact with each other. We did put down a steel plate today over the hole, temporarily, until we can find out whose responsibility it is to replace and to fix, to do repairs to the roadway. So that's an ongoing discussion, that we will be going into executive session here at the end of this meeting to talk about. I also went, today, and got, windshield wiper replaced for all 3 police cars, 2 sets. So you're out there in the vein, the 2 newest cars take 2 different sides for the windshield, so you have to figure out which one goes where. So they're out there, 20, there's 12 bottles of windshield wiper fluid you can use. And also I made a trip to York today and picked up our signs. Here's our new signs that you will be seeing placed in the township over the next couple of weeks. And anyone that's watching, this is the new ordinance in Liberty Township. If you are going to solicit in our township, you're required by our ordinance to come into the police department, fill out an application, and be approved and given a permit to solicit within Liberty Township. This is to protect the Liberty Township residents from fraud and swindles, and these fly-by-night people that come in this time of the season to try to take advantage of our residents. So these are going to be placed at every entrance to the township, giving them a warning. I don't know if you would see that. That they must have a permit. So if someone knocks on your door and wants to solicitate driveway sealant, driveway paving, they want to spray your roof, they want to do windows or whatever they do, first you need to ask them to see their ID, that the chief will be issuing for them when they have a permit. If you do not have that, then you know that they have not been in touch with the township. I would advise you to make sure they vacate your property.
If you do call the police regarding solicitation, I just want to explain to you that the Pennsylvania State Police do not enforce local ordinances, so therefore they will not respond to that call because of an ordinance violation. Okay? So if we would happen to have no one on duty at the time, then we may not get a response from a patrol.
Also, while we're on that topic too, I want to just make sure the residents are aware. Liberty Township does not have an ordinance that says you cannot blow your grass out on your roadway, but in the Pennsylvania Vehicular Code, there is a violation, in the Vehicular Code, it says you cannot disperse any debris upon a public roadway, and grass is considered a debris. So if you're mowing and you blow it out on the road and our police officer stops you and tells you you're in violation of the Pennsylvania Code, that's a fact. So just be aware you can be fined on the spot for doing that. So anyhow, it's not a township ordinance, but it is a Pennsylvania vehicular ordinance.
Yeah, and it's more a safety factor.
Correct. Absolutely. All right. After that, we will go on to the planning commission. They have no meeting for the planning board, but the planning board has sent out an email to the township supervisors asking or requesting for additional engineering consulting hours. Did you guys see that request?
Yeah.
Okay. Any thought on the request?
It's way over what they have requested to start. I think they're getting too in depth.
Okay. Chris?
You guys have the history here, and
We tasked them, we did task the planning board with a few things to look at, and to have a couple of meetings, to review that. We did give them some additional hours, from, KPI to, address some of the ordinance, that we were looking at. Particularly some of them that were to be looked at with Airbnbs within Liberty Township. The ordinance that we already have on the books for apartments and accessory buildings. I did attend one of the meetings, and we explained to the planning board at that time that the board of supervisors was really looking mainly just to remove one word from that particular ordinance. Instead of being attached, that it could be detached and be still able to move forward. But again, that kind of spiraled off into another whole realm with the planning board, and they came back with a lot of different wording and suggestions, and I don't think any resolve has been met at this point.
That's the document that we reviewed back in like May, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's what this 10 to 15 hours is associated with that work?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think some of the other one was, some of the other thing, there was just ordinances, things in the ordinance we wanted to try to clean up. Like I said, I was able to go to one of the meetings. I know Dominic was trying to get some direction to that, to them, on what the supervisors were looking for. I know PMCA also was involved to some extent, where they actually, presented some, examples of other townships and what they had and how it went. Another one we had tasked them with too was to look at the, solar panels and stuff like that. I know in the township right now, solar panels you can have on your houses, but you still can use solar panels as far as, the farm type of deal, but there's pretty hard restrictions on that. So we had tasked them also to look at that and how we can facilitate helping the farmers if they want to use some of their properties to do solar farms, because right now the stringency to do that was pretty strict.
Yeah.
I know other townships surrounding us have loosened the reins on that because the farmers have requested to offset their farms to be able to use some of their land for solar panels. I know in Franklin County they have went forward with allowing the farmers to use a percentage of their land to do that, and they're still in cash down there, and there's an ongoing negotiations to do the same thing. The biggest thing that the farmers, from my interactions with talking to some of these guys, the biggest issue is that they feel it's unfair for people that have moved into the area from wherever, the city or wherever, to dictate to them what they can do with their farm. Especially when they are paying the bill to keep their farm going, and the commodity coming off the farm is not bringing in the revenue to keep the farm moving. So I know two of the local farmers, that's one of their biggest gripes, is they don't feel it's fair that outsiders, as they put it, can dictate to them what they can do with their family farms that have been in their farm families for hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And it's definitely understandable, so they gotta.
And how far are we from the grid? I mean, that's gonna be the economics of it ours. Like, we put in a solar farm out here, it's like having a data center here. We're too far from the grid for it to economically make sense. So, in my opinion, not that I've looked into it, but I just gotta believe it's we're too far from the grid to make it make sense.
Yeah, I don't know anything about solar farm stuff, but those are the things we passed them with. So, just trying to feel what the board wants to do as far as, you wanna grant them additional hours, or you want to say, no, we're gonna hold the line here?
How big an issue is the attachment piece? Is that a real big issue for us on the planning side? People that are building, adding on
Well,
for
it's not, it is for the person that wants to do a detached family dwelling type of deal.
ADU.
Yeah.
I'm not talking Airbnb here.
Right, yeah, we're
Well,
talking.
you know what, if they got a garage setting to the side of the house 8 feet away, 10 feet away, you can put a 2x4 and attach it.
Well, that's not how
technically speaking.
that's not how the ordinance runs, but, the intent was that now for what you, to do that, you have to go through a zoning hearing to, get an exception to the ordinance. Now, the problem with that being, Chris, is anytime you go to the zoning hearing board, to get an exception, there's a couple of criteria that you have to meet right off the bat. One of them is a hardship. You have to prove that it's a hardship to you personally because you were not allowing them to do that. And, it's very hard to get a hardship because, you gotta prove that, you know, you can't use it for anything else. That's it. So, you're usually denied on that.
And this is regardless of whether I'm running electricity or putting in plumbing. If I just wanna put a shell in, I need to go to the zoning.
You will if under the current ordinance, yes.
Okay, and so do we wanna loosen that restriction, or
We
we
wanted
wanna?
to, some of the thinking was to loosen the restriction on that and allow, people to put in these accessory apartments for families and
Okay,
stuff like that. It has nothing to do with the Airbnb thing.
but they wouldn't be doing anything with plumbing and no electricity,
No, they do whatever they have to do for an addition for.
or for that has to get permitted.
They have to go through the permitting process, land use
Yeah.
permit, they have to do the septic, they have to do, there's already stuff in our zoning ordinances, you have to comply with the same look of the house, you can't see changing the look, and one can't have siding, the other has wood, and, the same structural style, the whole 9 yards, that's already in the
Yep.
ordinance.
Yep.
The only thing in the ordinance right now that restricts it is it has to be attached to the house, instead of being detached.
Oh, hence Bobby's comment on runs of 2x4s.
Right, which I don't think that's gonna
Breezeway.
It's a breezeway, like 100 feet long, that
Anyhow,
Suggested,
huh?
the zoning officer did suggest that to someone.
Yeah, he
To
did.
add a
Sure.
breezeway.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Absolutely.
Put a
Did
breezeway.
we not?
Yeah, but you might put a breezeway in. like
Unless
I
your
said.
garage is a little bit further, then it'd be a
Right.
long breezeway.
Right, you might have a long breezeway.
Yeah, right, got it.
We're just trying to loosen it up a little bit for
Yeah.
family members that are, maybe the elderly, mom and pop moving in, that they can take care of them, they're there with them, that's the thinking behind it.
That's the thing, that's the big thinking behind it, it's not really
Yeah.
to open up the door for people to turn their houses into apartments and
Right.
the whole 9 yards, that's not what this intent is, that's a total different subject matter, but anyhow,
So we're gonna loosen the restrictions on this bereavement kind of, or.
well, that's kind of what the thinking is, we haven't taken any action on it. And again, that has nothing to do with these Airbnbs or anything else, this is a total separate matter.
But then Airbnb is another issue.
It
That's
is.
another issue.
It's another issue,
Yeah.
I believe we have a zoning hearing coming up about that particular thing there, but anyhow, that is another issue, but again, some of the things that we got an Airbnb right at the moment that's doing that exact thing, is the detached, building. It has not been permitted, so they're in violation of our orders right now.
Well, we have both, attached and detached.
We do have both, we do have exactly both.
We do.
orders. Yes, we do. Now, so we're trying to figure out how do we address those things. County, I was in a conversation today with county, the county tax office, and also, I was not aware that the county tax office is a separate entity from the Clean and Green office. They actually called me about the Clean and Green, and the question was, if you have 2 acres or less, 2 acres, can you take 2 acres out of Clean and Green and put them in and do this Airbnb? The answer is technically, you may be able to, you have to apply for that, and it has to be reviewed by the Clean and Green Board. You still have to pay rollback taxes on at least the 2 acres. The problem is that some people that have 10 acres and that's all they got just to get right under the radar for Clean and Green. You take 2 acres out, it takes you complete out.
Yeah,
You're
they
totally
all
out.
have taxes.
And anything, these Airbnbs, according to the county, tax assessment office and the management of the Clean and Green program, they are considered a commercial business, takes out. There's no doubt about it. You're out. And they are looking at those things. What they have asked for is a list. That's what they call us today. For a list of people that are in non-compliance and running Airbnbs in our township.
From the county, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Adams County has a hotel tax.
They do, and actually come to
That was
find,
part of the issue too.
come to find out, not only do they have a hotel tax, if you run an Airbnb, they get a tax off of that too.
The county does.
Yes, not us.
No, county, it's all county.
It's all county.
We're just trying to regulate it and make sense of it so we're covered,
Correct. Yeah.
so.
So he asked for a list today, and I said, well, I have to do the same thing you have to do. I have to Google it on how many Airbnbs are in Liberty Township.
Yeah, we have no list. No one's registered in
Yeah,
Airbnb.
no, but not talking, I
So
said,
the answer is we have no
I'll
list.
tell you, we don't have a list. I said, if you want a list, you can Google it. I said, you can pull it up on the Airbnb website. It'll tell you everyone that's in Liberty Township, because you got them all pinned on there.
Otherwise, our official answer is 0, because that's 0 that are registered here.
Right.
Yeah.
Official
That'd be my answer.
0 that we know of.
That's not true, because he asked me point blank, how many do I know that are exist in Liberty Township? As a
Well,
public
that's a
official, I
person-
can't say 0, because that's a lie.
That's a personal question.
I know there's not.
I
I
hear
know
you
for a
saying.
fact there's not.
I have no record.
We don't have any record,
There
we
you go,
don't have
that's my
anything on the
answer.
record,
Of
but I
zero.
know there's not sitting in our township.
And the county's missing out on tax.
And I told him, I said, so you can Google those and find them. Because did anyone apply for a change of order occupancy? I went, no, not that I know of. And he goes, okay, thank you very much, and that was the end of the conversation. So,
Sounds like he's gonna do his due diligence.
looks like they are, whatever, I don't care.
Mr. Chairman, getting back to the solar, I mean, first of all, you do allow these solar
Yes.
installs in the agricultural rural district, which I assume where most of your farms are. And your regulations are really very lax compared to.
Well, I was told they were very strict.
You have 3 pages, one of my other townships, and 2 of them are considering, they get over 40 pages of regulating solar. I mean, some of the townships, see, Franklin County, they got a totally different philosophy, they don't want these solar farms there.
Right.
So what they're saying is that if you have class 1 soils, let's suppose you have 100 acres of class 1 soils, you can only put solar panels on 20%, or 20 of the, and if you have class 2, you can only put it on 40%, so you can only put it on 20 of the 100 acres or 40 of the 100 acres, that's what they're saying for class 1. Well, you don't have anything like that in yours, you know, they get 100 acres, they could put 100 acres of solar panels, it could be the best farm ground in the world, and they can do it. At least I'm not seeing it, and I'm just, while you were discussing that Airbnbs, and that's a problem a lot of townships are having with those. They're tough to regulate, they're tough to find, and, well, I guess they're not tough to find, but they're tough to regulate, but, yeah, so you do allow it in the AR, I don't think it's a conditional use in the AR district. You got 3 pages, one of the things you require is a decommissioning bond, and you need to have that, because, you know, 25, 30 years from now, you don't wanna have
Right.
a field of solar
Solar
panels.
panels.
Especially 10 panels in there.
Yeah, that'd be called attractive nuisance, you get kids running through there busting them and stuff, if they don't have proper security. Yeah, if your farmers are complaining,
These are ones that put other local farmers, but not,
Yeah.
nobody in our township really even saying.
Close by.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, close by,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe other municipalities might have some of these more stringent ordinances, but you don't.
Okay, good.
You guys are, you know.
Okay. Alright, well, think that's the only thing for,
So what's the action item on the KPI
yes, so,
stuff?
yeah, the question is, they're requesting additional hours. I don't see, how many hours they're requesting?
It says right
additional
here, 10 to
10 to
15.
15 is what I saw.
10 to 15 additional hours.
hours? Where's that?
It's
Per
in the
month, per
email.
meeting?
Or no, right here.
Per meeting, what are you talking?
No, they want an additional 10 to 15 hours billable for this project for the engineer.
So the,
And we had agreed
There-
to 20?
No, I don't think we what did you,
I thought we had talked about
it's
that.
in the minutes of last month, so
Yeah.
that's one good thing
We sure
about having
did.
it.
Yeah, we did discuss having.
Yeah.
Was that last month?
Is that the last month?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
it was
It was
last
the
month.
month before, I can't tell you, cause I don't, remember.
I think it's not last month, I think,
Yeah, I think it's a month before.
I think it's
You're
not
talking
last
about
month.
May?
I think it's
If you
May.
wanna wait, I'll go get the information, do you want me to just go grab it?
Yeah.
If we want to
Be
sit
sure.
in.
Yeah.
And is the plan that they'll come to us with a plan,
Recommendations.
Recommendation, yeah.
and you attended these sessions?
I did, I think.
I've been to one.
I think that there was comments presented to them, some of the, other townships and how they're addressing some of these things, and then I told the board what we were looking for, that we was just really looking to, amend the current ordinance, and that just kinda went,
Yeah.
and it's like, technically, if we wanted to, we could make a motion tonight and do it ourselves, we really don't need to have any more say into it unless we want to. Cause it is a recommendation by the owner.
$300, which is about 3 hours. You give them 3 hours,
And they're asking for 10 to 15.
more.
So that's 3,000.
That's not meetings. They want him to work on it outside of the meeting and bring it to the next meeting. They want him to spend 10 to 15 hours independently. to
No,
work.
no, she said 3 hours for $300. So 10 hours would be 1,000, 15 would be 1,500, right?
Correct. That's what they're requesting, but
That's-
this is not an
I
issue.
quickly ran the math on that, like, that's 3 times the amount.
They're not asking for meetings. I mean, they want him to come to the next meeting, but they want between now, when you approve the money, and the next meeting, they want him to spend the 10 to 15 hours doing the research and working on it. That is what their request is.
I thought it was pretty clear the last time, meeting I was at, I don't know what you got at your meeting.
I got a lot of nothing out of the meeting I attended, to be honest with you. They batted the ball around a good bit there, and didn't make any decisions or have any determining discussion that. The only thing I interjected was they were wondering, well, why about that, since I was there, what's the issue? I said, well, you guys haven't even addressed things. I said, there's things like ADA standards, all the above for these, Airbnbs. I mean, you guys don't even, and they all look at me like, oh, really? We never even thought about that.
Well, yeah, if you look at Gettysburg, the Airbnbs in Gettysburg, I mean, they're putting those guys through the ringers.
Yeah.
And they're making.
I don't wanna do that. If somebody wants to have an Airbnb and make an extra buck in their township, I'm all for it.
That's my attitude.
As long as
It's
they
their
know
house.
it's a proper channel.
Yeah.
As
their
long as they're not
problem.
doing any modifications to it, like, you know.
Yeah.
And they get their land use and their change of occupancy. The thing is we've got people just throwing them up, turning their garages, their 2-car garage into an Airbnb and throwing it up on Facebook, with no permit. They
That's a bit different. Like, let's say, not that I'm doing this, but let's say I had a couple rooms in it because the kids are gone and I want to rent them out.
Yeah.
Not doing any modifications, the toilets are there, right? Like, yeah, no big deal, right? I think that's okay. But if someone's going and modifying a property and suddenly now you've got electrical being run and some, they're doing it on their own, that's an issue.
They put water in, put bathrooms down there.
Well, that's it.
And there's requirements for to be an Airbnb.
Right.
It has to be somewhat of a kitchen area,
Yep.
toilet, sink, et cetera, creature comforts.
Well, shoot, those yurts that I've got out in my backfield there, they don't.
They might fit.
Actually, we can't do that because of the zoning. But no campgrounds.
It,
Okay, sorry.
well, there's so many variables within the state.
Right.
What townships, boroughs, cities are doing with Airbnbs. Some of them are very restrictive, extremely, and some of them, like us, have nothing.
Yeah. Like, I know Annapolis is super restrictive on what people can do and can't do.
Absolutely, and I'm also kind of concerned about things such as where does the liability fall on the hotel tax for Adams County? just to take one of the things. Who's actually gonna take care of that?
Yeah,
I
Not
don't want
us.
to fall back on us. That's, I don't have a dog in that fight. Unless they wanna pay me a commission. So, somehow we need to, well, it goes down to one word in some cases, you know. So I think maybe as a board, maybe we ought to attend, if we all can, the next meeting and discuss this with them during their meeting to kind of maybe direct them in a little more pointed area rather
I'm
than
fair with that.
taking everything in from the
Cause they were
state.
setting up workshops.
Yeah,
I have to, let me
Oh,
just interject here to tell you where they are. They're done meeting what they're feeling, and they're wanting to give, they want Dominic or KPI to type it all up for them. It's gonna take 10 to 15 hours for him to make it all in a workable format and bring it to their next meeting so they can vote on it. So their feeling is they're finished,
Got
and they wanna pay him 10 to 15 hours to type it all up.
Do they have a rough copy of that?
No, they want him, I mean, they're just the notes from the meeting.
That's what I'm saying. That would be a rough copy of my
Yeah.
work.
I wouldn't mind
I personally don't know how to.
An outline of some sort that we as a board can
Oh,
review
is there-
before we say we're gonna spend another
That's a good
$1,000.
There's no sense in us reviewing something and then paying somebody to do it and
And you
reject it and
reject
be
it.
like, this is completely out of
Absolutely,
line.
that's, yeah.
Then I agree with that you should make some type of motion of that. but
I'm gonna
not-
make a motion that we review the minutes. Is that right?
What minutes?
Minutes?
The
No,
minutes
Or,
of
or
the-
the notes,
of the
their
plan.
recommendations,
Yeah.
the zoning commission.
We need
Right,
copies.
or you can watch the video if you want,
I
yeah.
can watch the video. I can do that. I can
Yeah, they
watch
have
videos.
their meetings are all online with ours.
I
on
do much
YouTube.
better with a hard copy.
Okay, I have a receipt. I do send you the minutes as soon as they send them, so you'll
So
get
you
the
want
minutes
a hard
when I
copy
get
of
them.
the draft that they wanna give to Dominic to draw up.
Okay.
That would be helpful. And I'll watch the video.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that they present the board a draft copy of what they want Dominic to
Thank you.
spend
Second.
15 hours on.
Yeah, second.
Okay,
All in favor?
Absolutely.
I will communicate that to, the chairman.
And you'll show me how to get access to the video.
Yeah, definitely, I'll send you the link.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, fellas. All right, secretary treasurer report.
None.
Old business, consider a motion to appoint a zoning hearing board member for a 1.5 years term. As we discussed earlier, I did have a discussion with Mr. Lisco on this particular here. We've had one person so far submit a letter of interest, that be Sherry Kite, has submitted a letter of interest. I also put in the newsletter that just came out today for the Williamsburg Journal, advertising in that newsletter that we were taking letters of interest for other candidates who might want to be considered for the zoning hearing board. We're not pressed to make an appointment at the moment, so I want to table this until we do have some feelers out for other candidates to see where we come in with that.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Alright, under public comment under new business, if anyone would like to comment on any of the new agenda items under new business, now is the time. Would anyone like to make a public comment on the new agenda items? Not seeing anyone, we'll move forward to the first one, consider a motion to award a telephone contracts. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the telephone contracts that Jessica was getting through the different,
So I did, and first thing that caught my eye is like one had a fax on the internet contract, the other ones don't. I know they need a fax, so that's not outlined, and then if you just said they're looking for a hotspot, that's not on here. And then I don't see T-Mobile, T-Mobile's at the bottom. So, do we have all of their requirements listed out, so if we're getting a
The
hotspot?
fax is provided currently through the Comcast internet because we have to use a hard fax.
Yeah, I
All
got that.
phone services would provide fax, but they did not wanna provide a hard fax, they wanted to provide e-fax. services, and the police department cannot use that because of security reasons,
Correct.
so far.
Yep, sounds good.
So that's covered, the fax itself would be covered, with our internet service as it is now, and so.
So that doesn't
So
matter.
that does not matter
Okay.
at all. We would always be using the fax with Comcast based
Yeah.
on whatever they're trying to
Okay.
offer. And the hotspot, that's completely
Separate.
separate, that's a police department project. The phones are for everyone
Got it.
and the internet is for everyone.
Okay.
But the police department has, she was working on it because they have higher needs than we do.
Mhm.
And so they had to make sure that we were getting an internet service that would meet the police department's needs, as well as they're expanding the phone system in the office, they wanted different kinds of phones.
Well, I reviewed these things here myself, and from what I reviewed and some of the comments that were made about the different providers and their services and their reliability and stuff like that, I would tend to stay with Comcast at the present time, even though it may be difficult sometimes to deal with some of the issues. That's with any service that you get today. Anytime you call, so jump through a hoop and get somebody on the telephone who can speak English, let alone anything else. But that's just part of what our life is. So I don't know, unless you guys have a different opinion, why we would go with some of these other ones when they're not giving us the services that we already have, and it's been working for us.
Oh, I agree. Chris, what do you have to say about it?
Yeah, I stop broken,
Right,
right?
Right, not broken.
It's not broken. And I mean, what are they putting, you may not know this, they wanna take off the PBX system and they wanna put IP phones in there or something like that, is that what they're trying to do?
No, who? The police
The
department?
police department, they want new phones?
No, it's just the kind of phones, not the type, the actual physical
Oh,
phones.
it's just the
Just
physical
the
phone.
hardware, just the hardware.
Alright,
No, they wanna change out the hardware,
alright.
not the service.
Alright, I'm gonna make a motion to reinstate Comcast.
So we'll renew with Comcast, Mr. Rowland. Thank
That's
you.
my motion.
and I'll second that.
You in favor?
Alright,
Alright, thank you. And then all we have is Comcast for internet.
and then if he wants to get his T-Mobile stuff, he just does that separately.
That's separate, those hotspots and all that are separate from the township, that's his budget.
That's his
He's
budget, yeah.
specific to
Okay.
that, but we do also need to renew the Comcast contract, which is
So
also.
we're gonna make a motion that we're gonna renew the Comcast contract.
I'll
You-
second.
All in favor?
Alright,
Thank you.
Consider motion to provide comments on Washington Township Franklin County zoning map. I have no comments on the zoning map, at all. I reviewed it, it really has no bearing on us, other than it's a courtesy that they sent that to us.
Just in case every once in a while they do put something
Yeah,
on our
every
board
once
that
in
we
a while
don't
they do.
want, like a pig farm.
So I'll make a motion that we,
No problem.
respond to them, and we have no comments on their, comprehensive plan.
seconded.
All in favor?
God bless them for their visibility.
Public comment period, notification of the Adams County Church plan. I don't have any
Yeah,
comments.
you're just notifying the public that there's a public comment
Yeah,
period.
there's public
So you
comment
can
period
just-
coming on that, yes.
And just, could you read that highlighted portion that I gave you in the handout,
Oh, look here.
please? Thank you.
Let me get
Just a
there.
courtesy. It's the very last page,
The last,
very last page of your packet.
Alright, public comment, a public hearing will be held on August 6, 2025 at a regular commissioners meeting commencing at 9 AM at the Adams County Courthouse located at 117 Baltimore Street, Gettysburg, PA.
Thank you so
So
much.
you're most certainly welcome to go and attend, and if you have any comments, that'd be your opportunity to do so,
Thank you.
okay?
So announced.
Alright, so, at this time, I have, I'm calling executive session with the board of supervisors. You're most certainly welcome to stick around, until we come out and we'll close the meeting. You can leave, if you wish. This shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes at most, to address a particular, topic. Alright, at this time, I'll adjourn the meeting until, full executive session. Good?
Alright, so we'll see you Sunday?
Yeah.
Hey, will I see you Sunday? Hey, will I see you Sunday for breakfast?
Yes.
You see him in church, see me at the bar.
Yeah. I love
Oh, that's a way to start off your morning.
No, they have breakfast at the end.
Yeah.
I prefer his way.
See y'all later.
See you guys.
See you, Richard. Good job, good job. I will do that.
I'm so confused.
very straight CIA watch. They only made like 200.
Oh, good.
It was gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
Don't sit down.
I got two.
I'm sitting there with this banquet with the guy.
I got two CIs for sure.
I got a couple of those.
Wendy, I don't even see you out with the meeting about this short payment.
Yes, I'll talk to you.
I have a buddy of mine that I'm absolutely convinced is an asset, right? He was in Switzerland and whatnot. I totally called him out at his wedding and making a toast to it. And I'm like, I don't know who you freaking work for. Yeah, his dad used to work for, it was like, had a deal, Department of Energy in Switzerland, and he went to school in Switzerland, speaks 5 languages.
Oh, wow.
He was suddenly showed up working in the army, he disappeared for 2 years, came back, and he was at flight school, and suddenly showed up at my house, like, I'm in town for something. And then now lives in Lake Lugano in Switzerland in finance, you know, and I'm like, okay, this is just.
Alright, we're gonna re-adjourn our meeting at 7:43. Our executive session, was to discuss the contractual, obligations of Liberty Township with Raven Rock and Covalo and, Hardball Valley alternate. Making a motion that we release the records that we have, to, Kevin Upton with the, Raven Rock, command, and also, with the letters that, Mr. Lisco had prepared for, annual letter from 1976.
Well, it's not a letter, it's the minutes from the
Well, the
meeting
minutes
in
from
1976.
1976, stating Liberty Township has no, obligations to either one of those roads, whatsoever. It's all, federal, roads, and, Liberty, is rejecting any, indication of ownership or any, responsibility for maintenance of those roads.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
7:45.
Thank you.
Wendy, I think.
Who seconded? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Bobby did.